Mr. John Travolta. John Travolta.
Thank you.
Please, take a seat. John, how are you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You look great. How nice to have John Travolta here, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It's so exciting. I'm really genuinely excited, sir, and it takes a lot to get me excited these days. As I was saying, you're like a proper movie star. Is this something that comes to you naturally? Did you always have this charisma on screen, or is it something you can learn?
Oh, gosh, I don't know how to answer that. I think you have to help me with that one. What do you think?
I was born with it. I'm wondering whether you... Is that what you meant?
I don't know if it's explainable, but...
Well, you've got a funny-looking face, but it's a very attractive face, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, though? Because it's a face... It's one of those faces that...
moments.
Well, it shouldn't work, but it does. It's hard not to look at it.
It's true.
It's beautiful in its own way.
Thank you.
You've been told this before, I'm sure.
No.
I love looking at your face. I could look at your face all day.
Oh, come on.
I've asked my wife to have it tattooed on her breasts. She hasn't answered me yet, John. John's over here because he's got a new movie out in the UK. I've seen the film. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But first of all, did you fly yourself in? Did you fly yourself in under your own steam in your own plane?
I did.
Ah, incredible. That must be just about the greatest feeling.
It can be, yes. I've been doing it a long time.
And that's got to be a pretty big plane. You're doing it from the US to here.
Yes.
What size plane are we talking about?
It's a Boeing 707.
Oh, that's a proper big plane.
It's a proper big plane.
That's a huge plane. How many people do you have on the plane with you when you're flying over?
Well, it used to have, when it was an airline service, probably had 150, but for me, it has about 30 people possible to...
And what do you do with the rest of the space? You've got a bowling alley or something?
You've got bedrooms, you've got a living room.
You have bedrooms and a living room on a plane? This is the greatest thing I've heard in my entire life. You can live on your plane.
You can.
There you are, dressed up as a pilot, and you are a proper pilot. You can actually do that for real. Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to learn to fly a plane as big as that?
Oh, 57 years. I've been flying for 35 years.
Wow, so it's mostly your adult life then.
And I've been flying jets for 25 years.
And is there, and don't take this the wrong way, but could you actually crash when landing in terms of these days? Because a computer knows where the ground is, doesn't it? And you're kind of steering it, I guess. Tell me if technically I've got this wrong, but then you do that near the ground. Now, but the computer can do that for you, can't it?
Auto land, yeah.
Does it do that on your plane?
No, we don't have auto land.
But that must be terrifying when you're coming in. There must be a moment you think...
Oh, no, that's the fun part. I wouldn't want to give that away to a computer.
Yeah. Have you had any hairy moments, any scary bits when you're trying to land and it's... Or like a cat's run out or something, you know,
no,
when you...
that's my favorite part. Takeoff slanties are my favorite part.
But they're the most dangerous part, aren't they, ever?
They are the most, but they're also the most fun parts.
Now, this is one of, believe it or not, this is one of John Travolta's houses. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
That's the house. You can see what he's got parked, where most of us have, you know, like a Previa or something. Is that the big plane that you flew over here on?
Yes, it is.
And so you've got a runway leading up to your house.
Do you think that's braggadocious of me?
I think it's incredible. Do you let your wife reverse the plane in ever, or do you... Are you allowed to just fly whenever you want? Can you just go, yeah, I'm going out, darling. I'm just going to fly.
I can fly whenever I want. That's the beauty of it.
You've got the greatest life of anyone on the planet.
I do. I may just have that.
You're like a proper superhero or something. Do you have more than one plane?
I have 2 planes.
Oh, my God. Where do you keep the other plane?
Right next to it, but it's not in that picture.
It would be a nightmare living next to him. Imagine trying to keep up, eh? The Travoltas have got another jet. It's a love of yours, though, isn't it? Do you love that more than making films, do you think, than acting? Do you think flying is when you're at your happiest?
No, I think it's one of the times I'm happy, but I love acting first, and it just happens to be another passion of mine. You know, I believe that you can have more than one.
Yes, this is true.
Yes, true.
And are the planes kept ready, sort of loaded with petrol all year round, ready to go?
Oh, yes.
And do you need another pilot sitting next to you when you fly?
Oh, yes.
OK, and where do you get the other pilot from? If you wanted to fly out in a hurry, just to the shops or something?
They're nearby. They either live on the premise or they live in a house nearby. I have a few of them.
So you bought some pilots as well?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. How many pilots have you bought?
I have 3.
Oh, you bought 3 pilots! 2 planes and 3 pilots. I've got a scooter, but I'm working up. I've got a car and a scooter, but I'm working up maybe to I don't know, a glider. Do you do the gliding? Have you ever done that without the power? Because
no, I do ultralights, so do you know what they are?
Are they the winged things? Oh, I know the ones. They're the little tiny plane things like they had in the James Bond movie.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Would you like to have been James Bond, John?
I would have.
Yeah.
I wanted to do James Bond, although this new guy is awesome.
He's great, isn't he?
You like him, don't you?
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Although he looks a bit like Sid James. Do you know who Sid James is?
I like him. He's the one I've liked the most since Sean.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean.
Yes.
I danced with Sean Connery once, you know.
Everyone says that. When did you dance with Sean Connery?
There was a party about 10 years ago for Frank Sinatra's, before he passed on, obviously. But I was about to leave with my wife, and he said, "John, where are you going?" And I said, "We got to go home. I'm going to work tomorrow morning." He said, "Not before you dance with me, you're not."
And you're not going to say no to Sean Connery, are you?
You bet I'm not.
Was it a dance like that? Who was the lead?
I let it. Sean Connery. You got to let him lead. But it was then everybody wanted to dance with me after that. He made me popular.
John, does it ever get tiresome though? People saying to you, "I want to see you dance. Will you dance? When did you learn to dance?" The whole dance.
Well, some of it I don't know what scene you have, but some of it I create too. I mean, sometimes I just enjoy doing it. You know, so it's not always imposed on me. It's a self-inflicted thing.
In Pulp Fiction, when Quentin got you to do the fantastic dance with Uma Thurman, which is just a sort of one of the defining moments of that movie, that was something he'd scripted in already, and you knew what you were going to do?
He did, except that he only had the twist in mind. And I told him, I said, you know, there are more dances than just the twist. I said, when I was a kid, there were novelty dances like the swim, and the hitchhiker, and the Batman.
Yeah.
So I said, if you're smart, you would use all those dances and just film them, call them out or something. So he agreed to that. I said, just the twist might be too much for that length.
That movie really kind of turned your career around again, though, didn't it? Because you had the big hit early on, and then you had a series of movies that didn't do as well. Did you ever worry and think, OK, that's it for me, the acting more or less has gone away now? Was there a period when you stopped receiving scripts?
Not too bad. I mean, I think once you establish yourself at the level I did, there's always scripts on that are possible. It's just what are they, and
whether you want to do them,
and what quality are they. But yeah, Pulp Fiction gave me my second Academy Award nomination, and that gave me everything up till today.
Yeah.
All the good films I've done in the last 12 years.
All right, let's talk about the new movie, because it's a very timely film in that you're a man of a certain age, I'm a man of a certain age. When a man gets to a certain age, he maybe feels that life's run away with him and he wants to have one last go at freedom, at wildness, and that's kind of one of the ideas behind Wild Hogs, isn't it?
Sure. Well, you know, we're a bunch of guys that hang out on the weekends. What we do is we have these Harley Davidsons, and it's a hobby. And when we get together, it's just beer and a chat, you know. Okay. So I have the bright idea of taking the bikes on the road, a long road trip across the United States. And I seduce the guys into doing it, except they don't know that I have a bunch of secrets and I'm escaping something. But they fall for it, and we hit the road hits back. And you land them in trouble on the way, but it's great fun. It's a comedy more than anything else. But it's a broad comedy.
There's a sort of a serious idea behind it as well. What a great cast with you, though. I'm a big fan of Martin Lawrence. I love William H. Macy movies. And I would hope that it was as much fun to make as it is to watch.
It was a blast. Yeah. We had a lot of time, more laughs between takes.
And did you ride all your own bikes in it, or did you have stunt bikers at various stages?
Well, we had some, but most of them we had to ride because we were quite visible, you know. So I enjoyed every bit of making it. I mean, it was long days, but with all the energy of those special talents, it was easy to keep going.
Because I didn't think you did the long days. I'd read somewhere, and I don't think it's true.
It was the first time I gave into the long days in a long time. But when you do these multiple star films, you have to concede.
It used to be. I read somewhere you had a contract saying you wouldn't work past 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to see my kids.
That's a great idea. If you got the power to do that, why not?
Well, I actually got it from Gene Hackman. He told me I said, you can put limits on these things. And he told me he could, and I said, you know, that's a good idea. I'd like to have a family life, too, and not just work till midnight every night. And it worked. I got to put the kids to bed, and I got to have dinner with my wife, and I got to learn my lines and go to sleep. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to. So it was actually a very healthy thing, and it changed a lot of Hollywood's thinking.
So he managed to get that balance, and he owns 2 planes and 3 pilots. Isn't that a life you would like to know what it's like to live? Let's have a look at the kid. This is John in action with just a fabulous cast around him in Wild Hogs. It's out here on the 13th of April. Look at this.
There are no rules on this trip, remember? We're just heading for the Pacific, and there ain't no plan. Who knows where we're gonna be?
I know where we're gonna be. Dudley hooked me up. Check out this thing. It's a GPS in my phone now. Look at that thing.
Kid, let me see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Look at that.